I think that one thing that's been quite interesting since I've been seeing you in the office for so many years now is to just kind of watch how your eyes have fit in this vision for a lifetime philosophy we have here. Because nobody had better vision than you had when you were a ball player. You were 2010.
Right.
You know, it's always been interesting to me that the two players that had the highest batting average ever, you and Ted Williams, both had 2010 vision. So this vision in baseball certainly has been a big deal. And did you feel like that was a real asset for you?
Well, I couldn't compare what I saw to what other people saw. I just knew I had good vision because whenever I'd go to you, you would say, read that fifth line, and I'd go QRWZX, and you'd say, okay, get out of here. I didn't know if everybody else could read that fifth line or whatever.
Nobody else even knew that was on the chart. That's 2010. So, I mean, you were the only one that was reading that.
So obviously, I think having good vision, you know, you could pick things up a little quicker than most people, maybe see the spin of the ball a little bit better. And I really didn't realize throughout my career, obviously the older you get, you slow down a little bit, your reaction time is a little bit slower. All I know, Doc, is that it got harder to hit the older I got. And I didn't really know if it was because my vision was leaving or if it was because my muscles were, you know, maybe the vision telling my brain to do something, but then it took my muscles a little longer time to react. I wasn't sure. All I know was when I was 40, it was a lot harder than when I was 27. And then coincidentally, at about age 42, I started wearing glasses. And my vision wasn't 20/10 anymore. I don't know what it was, you would probably know, but the game got harder as I got older. And unfortunately, I think my 2010 wasn't 2010 anymore when I got older. So
and really that's what we saw, because you went to 2020, which most people thought was normal, and then you started noticing it. And then both of us, and we're the same age, so we went through the same thing. Both of us had really good vision. I was 2010 also. I couldn't hit the baseball, but I was 2010 also. And as soon as I dropped down to 2020, I could tell a big difference. And then when my arms started getting too short, you know, and starting to pick up the stupid reading glasses, and you know how that went. And then both of us have had the surgery to get rid of reading glasses now. And you know, maybe a little bit telling me of what's that meant to you now, kind of getting some of that back and getting rid of the granny glasses. Has that made a big difference?
Well, I was never embarrassed to be seen in glasses. It just made life a lot more difficult. I'd get up in the morning and I couldn't read the newspaper. I loved to try to do the crossword puzzles. I couldn't do those without glasses. I couldn't do Sudoku without those. I loved all the little puzzles in the newspaper. When I'd go out and have dinner at night, I couldn't see the menu. Especially if you go to a really nice restaurant, I like it real dark, and I'd always have to say, hey, I forgot my glasses, do you have any glasses? And then that or borrow somebody's. I'll never forget the first couple times when I really realized my vision was going. I would get a wine glass and kind of get the candle and try to, you know, get some type of magnification with the wine glass and the candle so I could see the menu and order correctly. But it just got to a point where I had a couple pair of glasses. I wasn't good about bringing them with me. I was always good at losing them. And then going to buy the little readers at the airport whenever I'd go on a trip. And then you get the real funky looking glasses. Now you're sitting on an airplane with funky glasses. And it just got to a point where coming to see you year after year and you're saying, George, you're not ready yet. George, you're not a good candidate for this procedure yet. And I'm going, well, I'm still wearing glasses and it's getting harder to read. And then that one time when I came in, you said, okay, now you're ready. And then you booked the procedure. And the next morning, I got up in anticipation of reading the newspaper, not knowing what to expect, and I could read it just like that. Yeah, and my life's been so much easier since.
You're a good example too, is in our research department, since we develop all these procedures, I knew what was coming. I knew there was a procedure. I knew your eyes because I've been following for so long. And I knew which procedure, and earlier when I was telling you weren't ready yet, the technology wasn't quite ready because I know you well enough. I needed something that was quick and fast and easy, and boom, you were there. And that was when we did that special Lasik procedure. And it's the same one I had done too. So I kind of tried it out before I even did it on you and knew how well it was working for me too. As far as the surgery itself, was that a big deal?
No, I was nervous. I think anytime, thank God I only had one eye done. I figured, you know, what's the big deal if I had a patch over one eye the rest of my life if things didn't go well. But I had a little confidence in you, and that's why I allowed you to do it. But I didn't know what to expect, obviously, and when they start screwing around with your eyes are pretty important part of your anatomy, I guess, and I was a little nervous, to be honest with you. I've had many shoulder surgeries and knee surgeries, and you have confidence in the doctor that, hey, they're going to go in there, repair it, and you'll be able to play. Well, your vision's a little bit different, and didn't know what to expect the next day. You had told me that sometimes it takes a little bit longer on some people. Sometimes the next day you wake up, and sure enough, I woke up the next morning and went out and got the newspaper, and I could read it just like that. I mean, it was pretty sweet.
One thing that I just had one eye done, you just had one eye done. A lot of patients say, isn't that weird? Don't your eyes fight each other or anything else? And I haven't seen it. Did you notice any problems adjusting to?
I noticed none, and you told me it might take a while. It takes a while on some people because I guess the information your brain's getting, it takes a while for your brain to comprehend, okay, all of a sudden I'm seeing things different, and it takes a little bit of time to adjust. Evidently, you're in my brain cells. I don't know if we've destroyed a lot of them or we haven't used a lot of them, because I woke up the next morning and I was fine.
Yeah, I was actually in St. Louis the next day giving a lecture, and I was talking to the audience. I looked down and said, hey, my watch has a date on it, which I had no idea it did. So it's kind of one of those things where you kind of must have missed that a couple of years ago. But the rest of the future now is really neat, because where we have your eyes right now, I don't anticipate any problems unless you start developing a cataract at some point in time.
What is my vision now?
You're 20/20 at distance and you're 20/20 up close.
Perfect.
You've got, and matter of fact, you're 20/20 at the computer too. So I mean, all those distances are working now. The only thing we'll have to do now is continue the good nutrition that you've been good about, make sure your retina stays healthy, and then we'll examine your eyes every 2 to 5 years and just make sure we stay on track to make sure we keep the good vision long term. And if we follow all the rules and get the exams and do what we need to do, I think we can keep you seeing long term as good as you're seeing now, which will be great.
What would have happened, Doc, if say you would have done this procedure when I was 38 years old? I won a batting championship at 37, and that was my last good year. And I'm wondering at 38 if my eyes were starting to go bad then. Do you think it would have I would have benefited from having this maybe a little sooner if the technology was out there?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, I'm working with quite a few people on the team right now just for the same thing, and even some of the young players. The one thing is you were lucky, you were born with that great distance vision, but a lot of people don't have that, and now with the modern technology, we can help people in their late teens, early 20s, especially the people that are good at sports. And if I take somebody who's had a little bit of vision problem, but they've really done well in sports anyway, and then correct their vision, wow, they really take off. Because they already have the skills, and then when you give them that just ability to either see the ball a little
just
quicker.
Just to pick something up quicker.
I even have, tennis players that can play quicker doubles. Those things that just give them the better vision. But I've always not only admired you and your career and all your work ethic and everything, but it was such a neat thing for my field to work with you because you had the best vision I've ever seen, and it's kind of stimulated me to continue to do the research to make everybody 20/10. Because you can imagine if we could do that, how much safer people would be on the road, how much better people would be in performing not only in sports but in life.
What would be the percentage of people that you see that have 20/10?
Oh, it's less than 1%.
Really?
The naturally occurring, it's way less than 1%. And I see a lot of patients so that we see that. So, but with modern surgery now, we've taken, if I do, somebody's a good candidate for modern laser surgery that has a good healthy retina, we can get 20/10 vision in 15% of the people we do surgery on, and it's less than 1% of the naturally occurring. So we're actually improving nature there. And with the modern technology, getting 20/20 is really easy. That's pretty easy to get to that level. So as soon as the bar is here, I want to raise it to the next level and get everybody 20. There's one in between, there's 2015, which is in between 2010 and 2020, and that's really 75–80% of people have modern laser surgery now can get to that level. And 5 years ago, that was out of the question. So technology just keeps moving us ahead.
So you could take a guy with 20/20 and give him 20/10?
You can, and actually there's some things we can even do non-surgical that we can actually stimulate the brain to see better with some modern computer programs, that we can actually do things not only with surgery, but also with nutritional changes and also with some even computer brain training things, which just makes this whole field fascinating. So it's been great to work with you, and I look forward to working with you more.
Thank you for what you've done.
You bet. Sounds great. Thanks.